Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosh Customs and welcome to probably if not the final video of the year. I'm pretty sure it is. It's December 29th. I really don't think I'm going to crank out another one before the start of 2024. So today I wanted to showcase my Zack Snyder Justice League Mezco Flash repaint. And this is a repaint as well as I added some tweaks because I wanted to make some more nods to the comics and make him feel just a little bit more like the Flash because I really, really loved the design he had in the movie. But the Mezco figure fell flat, and I think the overall paint job of the original costume also fell flat. So I added some of my own modifications. So this is not really designing a movie accurate suit as much as my repaint to make it feel like the best of both worlds for me. So if you're looking at this right here, you might be going, okay, what's different? I don't see what's different. Maybe it's a little bit more metallic. What'd he do? Like, did he just like dry brush some silver on it? No, this is a full repaint as well as some very, very slight articulation mods. So we'll start with the articulation mods and then we'll move on to the paint from there. So first, an issue with the original figure was that this entire chest and back piece was completely, it was all fused together. It was just one giant torso piece. And the issue with that is he can't move it all. If you're familiar with Mezco waist joints, they really don't give too much articulation. You don't get much like low ab crunch and you don't get much twist. So for me, the big important part was the chest. So I took my X-Acto knife and at an angle, I cut upwards and cut open this whole upper chest area, slice that off from the torso. And so now he's able to twist, he's able to crunch, and you can see he gets a pretty decent crunch. I also cut all across the back here, just along this line, as you can see, so that he's able to lean back as well. And if you go, oh, he leans back, it opens up a hole in the chest. You can actually just slide this, you can just slide the torso armor up and then just lift the flap over. And there you go. So now you can get him leaning back too. If you want him to dodge under, maybe a swipe from Darkseid or from Steppenwolf, you can have him slide, slide under that, and he gets a little bit of bend back. Or if he's about to run, you can get him with a little bit of ab crunch forward now, as you can see there. So I like adding a bit more dynamic range to the character. That's really all he needs. He can still twist from the waist, and that's perfectly fine, but really the waist you don't get much out of it, so it didn't matter to me to add articulation at the waist and cut open, this section down here. Besides, this is the best way to hide the cut, I feel like, on either side, whereas down here there aren't as many visible layers, and so the cuts would be a lot easier to see, and so I just said I'm passing on that entirely. Another articulation mod I made is actually to the neck. If you saw my original video, you'd know that the Flash couldn't look up or down at all. It was completely frozen, and that was due to two factors. It was one, due to this extended neck brace that the character has. It's part of the character design, but it just means that you don't get very much flex. So I actually shaved it down just a little bit to give a little bit more leeway. And it's actually interesting. This entire thing is actually casted in skin tone plastic because they didn't go for inserted eyes or inserted mouth. A lot of the Batman figures and things like that, they actually have inserts. This is completely one flush piece. So it's actually all casted in a peach tone, and then everything has been sprayed and painted over. That's a fun little fact. So I cut into the neck brace, and then I also, you can see here, I shaved along the inside of the neck as well as down there at the ball peg, at the base of the ball peg. But because before, this was frozen in place and you couldn't jiggle it at all. It was, all that plastic came right up to the, to like the pin. And so the double ball joint couldn't move. But now I can get it to flex forward and backwards, maybe 5-10 degrees, and then added that with the extra neck space. He's able to look up a little bit. He's able to look down a little bit. It's still not perfect, but honestly, the only way for it to get even better would be to completely remove this lower joint here so that he could look up more, but as it stands, it's the plastic still ends up, I guess banging into each other. And so you're just going to get some resistance, but hey, at least you do get, before he was stuck like this, at least you get, 5 degrees up, 5 degrees down. It's something. So minor articulation mod there. I didn't want to cut this guy up too much because I do appreciate Mezco's goal to create this seamless spinal look or like neck brace look. And I did want to preserve that because I think it's a really interesting technical idea for the Flash, having to deal with inertia and things like that as he moves. So I wanted to preserve that as much as possible. So now getting down to the paint. Actually, here is a comparison between the paint jobs, so you can actually look at how plasticky the original head looks. This is his sort of angry open mouth head, and I don't like it. I don't like the expression at all, so I didn't even want to paint it up. But as you can see here, full repaint. You can see that metallic sheen and shine. You can even sort of see my finger reflection in it before my finger actually gets over it. You can see it reflecting the light there. Very nice and shiny compared to ew, yuck, matte plastic, gross, flat, or pretty shiny. Especially the top of the helmet here. The top of the helmet here is done in metal, and then this is done in more of a maroon red. So the way I painted all of this up is I mixed a couple different tones. So the first thing I did for the entire character is I gave it this flat black, this Angelus leather paint flat black wash. Everything got painted over in black. I blacked out all the armor. Everything got blacked out. And the reason I did that was because I wanted a even and consistent base tone. Because as you can see with the paint here, they already have highlights of red or like dark black or maroon all across the plastic, and that's all painted in. And I wanted to completely get rid of that, so I had a clean slate to create my own tones. So everything got painted black. From there, I took Angelus red and I mixed it with this Angelus leather brown to make a dark, deep, sort of maroon-ish red. And that's actually what you are seeing on a lot of these sort of textured plates here. The side of the head, a lot of this armor is all sort of done dry brushed in this darker, deeper maroon type color. After that, I then went over all the areas I defined as metal and hit it with a chrome. And once again, a dry brushed chrome. I didn't really want to paint it a full silver, but instead dry brushed chrome over the top of everything. And so like the top of this helmet, I knew it was going to be metal. And so you can see that there's even highlights and weather lines because the chrome is just a little bit more pronounced in those areas. Why is there a speck of dust there? Let me get my brush out here. Get rid of the dust. I need a sharper tool. There we go. Get rid of the dust. Dust is gone. You can see the highlights across the helmet there. And so same thing, the black wash with that silver dry brushing, it pulls out all this sculpted detail. Like look at, Mezco sculpted all these lines into the shoulders, all this weathering, all this scratching as he's been running through. This is just weathering from dust particles or from sand or from light pieces of gravel as he runs. And it's brushed over all this surface, all this metal plate surface area has just this incredible amount of depth, and all of it gets wiped out with the just matte plastic paint job. It was really, really sad, and so to paint over all of this again, to really bring all that out was so pretty, because there's actually an incredible amount of detail in this sculpt for a 1/12 figure, and most of it, unfortunately, just goes entirely underappreciated. So we hit some areas with the maroon, we hit some areas with the black, and then on top of that, I also just went for a normal base coat red to create some differentials. So as you can see, we have some deeper maroons here, but then we also get to some lighter reds in some areas. And I was trying to create some artificial highlights. So you can see there's just some brighter areas within this mesh, this plastic mesh. After that, I used a transparent red to create that final top coat metal finish. So it has this sort of like weathered cherry red look across all the different metal components. And so you have that dry brush, and then you have that trans red over it. After that, then, I wanted to bring out the effect that, in the movie, he has this blue lightning, and that's cool, but I am really a fan of the yellow lightning crackle effect like we see in some of the comics. I think in the cartoon, like in the old Justice League cartoon, as well as like the CW Flash TV show, you just get that yellow lightning sort of crackling over the surface of his suit. And so I wanted to bring that effect in, but translate it through all the wiring he has across the suit. I always imagine that the wiring is sort of like conducting the speed force or conducting some sort of energy around him, making him more aerodynamic. And so if it's sort of channeling these things, I decided to paint all of them in silver like the original movie. And then I actually, in part, decided to swap it out with gold. And so you can see here on some of these lines, it goes silver to gold. And that's all over. You have silver and it fades out to gold. And so it's sort of, as you pan him around, you sort of get this idea that, there's lightning or, that yellow electricity coursing through these wires across his suit. And that was a really, really fun effect to create. And for me, at least, it sticks more true to the Flash character. And then last but not least, these little ear fins really didn't do it for me in terms of the lightning effect. They look much more like Captain Boomerang's, low boomerangs, than they do to a Flash lightning symbol. But he does have that lightning motif in the top of his helmet, so I also painted that in with gold, just so that it feels a little bit more like the Flash. And I think that is a cool little design nod to have that lightning bolt carved in there. So that is my repaint for the Flash figure. This is a really quick little 12-15 minute video, but I just wanted to highlight some changes and some mods I made, and I think this is a much greater improvement. And I especially like this Mezco figure. I just want to say it because you have fabric here and in the hips, but then this is all plastic, and so he actually has a lot of replay value because you don't have to worry about like your primary joints bending and causing stretching over time. Your Batman figures and some of your other Marvel figures, they have all that fabric at the knee, and so that if you leave it bent for a long period of time, when you bend it back, it's going to sag and be stretched out. But for the Flash, it's the only fabric exposed to stretching might be like the back of his butt if you leave this leg up too long. But even then, it's the butt, you can just sort of tuck it under that joint and it's really fine. And so this guy has a lot of actual playability value and poseability value because of the plastic integrated into the arms and legs. And so now I actually can enjoy posing him and playing with him because he doesn't look and articulate like a piece of garbage. We can get him to turn now. We can get him to actually look at you. We can get him in a really, really sweet running pose now. Like, come on. That's the Flash right there. So anyways, thank you guys for viewing this video. Real quick little life update. I'm going to be moving again at the beginning of February. So I have one more commission to finish. I'm going to be finishing that up. I'm going to be leaving my commissions closed probably for the beginning of 2024, and then Lord willing, maybe I'll reopen up closer to the end of 2024. We'll see. But ultimately, I have a lot of personal projects I want to get to. I want to create a Doomsday figure. It's been like 5 or 6 years since I've tried my hand at Doomsday, so I'd love to bring the 3D modeling and just more of my advanced sculpting techniques into the mix and make a really interesting original version of the character. I have a couple other things like that sort of slotted and I have in mind, so I want to bring those to you in 2024. Really working a full-time job has me kind of questioning how much time I want to invest in customizing, because if you guys know, it is a big time eater to, whether it be repaints or full custom figures and designing, original parts and 3D printing and sizing. There's a bunch of different tasks involved there. And so with that, I want to, open up some more time for myself, some more free time for myself. And part of doing that is just to reel back my hours in Tosh, but hopefully, in part in reeling back the commission time that I'm investing, it means that I get to invest more in some personal projects and really create some unique stuff for you guys. I am first and foremost an artist. I am not a this is not a business to me. This is first a hobby that's sort of evolved into a pseudo hobby business store type thing. So I want to create art and I want to share art with you guys. And so that is my focus for 2024 as of right now. So just so you guys have a heads up for the new year. And once again, thank you all for being with me, for supporting me. Love you guys all so much. I hope you have a great new year with friends or with family. And I will catch you later in 2024. And so I salute you. Thank you for an incredible year. And so does The Flash. Take care.